it's Richie here with Satisfying Football this year, NFL Week 16 NFL previews. Only 2 weeks left this week and one more week before the playoffs. There's 3 games on Saturday and the rest on Sunday and a big Monday nighter. Starting with Houston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is actually big for Houston. Houston just got a win over Tennessee to get a game up on the division over Tennessee. They beat them 24-21. Sean Watson, 243, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. So. Carlos Hyde ran for 104 and a touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins, 6 catches, 119. They put up 374, but they turned over twice. Now, this is a really dangerous game. Tampa Bay's been on a tear. They won their last, I think, 3 or 4 games. And Jameis Winston just set an NFL record, over 450 passing in 2 straight games. They destroyed Detroit 38-17. Winston, 458, 4 touchdowns, and 1 pick. Chris Godwin, 5 catches, 121. Brashad Perriman, 5 catches, 113, 3 touchdowns, 495 yards. Defense forced 3 turnovers and an interception return for a touchdown. This will be a really close game. Houston's is favored. Actually, weirdly enough, I'm going to go with the Bucs here. Their offense is moving. Winston, he'll still throw like 4 interceptions, but somehow he'll throw for like 400 yards again. And I actually think the Bucs wind up with the win here, giving the Tennessee Titans a chance to tie it up against Houston for the division lead and playoff spot. Then you got the Bills and Patriots. This is big for a division race. New England's only actually 1 game ahead of the Bills. Bills coming off a 17-10 win over Pittsburgh. Josh Allen, 139 passing, a touchdown, a pick, plus 1 rushing. They only had 261 yards, a turnover twice, but their defense had 4 sacks, 5 turnovers, and only allowed 229 yards. The Patriots destroyed Cincinnati 34-13. Brady was fine, 128 yards, not great, but he had 2 touchdowns. They ran for 175 as a team, and their defense showed up and showed out. 5 turnovers, including a pick 6. This will be a pretty tight defensive battle. Bills have both defenses are basically like the 2 best in the league, pretty much. However, I do think the Patriots will come out on top here. They got too much veteran savvy with Brady's Hall of Famer, and Josh Allen still sucks at quarterback, so I'm going to go Patriots there. All right, then the Rams and the 49ers. Rams have still kind of an outside shot of making the playoffs, but they have to win these last 2 games and hope some other teams lose. The Niners are one of like 4 teams up for number 1 or 2 seed in the NFC. Rams got killed by Dallas 44-21. Goff, 284 passing, 2 touchdowns, a pick. They only ran for 22 yards. Tyler Higbee, 12 catches, 111. They only had 289 total yards and they allowed 475 yards. But the Niners are actually kind of upset at the last 4 seconds actually by Atlanta, 29-22. They lost. Garoppolo, 200 yards and a touchdown. George Kittle, 13 catches, 134, 2 turnovers. I think San Francisco bounces back here. I think they get a very important win over the Rams. The Rams are hot and cold. I mean, the Rams could come out with the upset here, but Niners, to me, are still a Super Bowl team, and they should be able to take care of business there. All right, going into Sunday, you got Jacksonville and Atlanta. Jacksonville actually came from behind to beat Oakland. They were down 16-3 and scored 2 touchdowns in the last 5 or so minutes of the game. They beat them in 2016. Gardner Minshew, 201 passing, 2 touchdowns. Atlanta had the upset of San Francisco, 29-22. Matt Ryan, 210, 2 touchdowns. Julio Jones, 13 catches, 134, 2 touchdowns. They did have 11 penalties, so they have to clean that up. Defense forced 2 turnovers and a fumble return touchdown late at the end. So this, I'm going to go with Atlanta here. Atlanta's been playing really, really well the last month or so. They beat Saints a while ago. They just beat the Niners. Jacksonville's got a tough team, but I think Atlanta will be a little too much. All right, Baltimore and Cleveland. Baltimore, their last loss was actually to Cleveland earlier in the year. I don't think that's going to happen here. Baltimore destroyed the Jets last week, 42-21. Lamar Jackson should be a shoo-in for MVP. 212 passing, 5 touchdowns, plus 86 rushing yards. He set the NFL record for rushing yards in a season by a quarterback. Put up 430 yards of offense. Cleveland, they got killed by Arizona, 38-24. Baker, 247, 2 touchdowns, a pick. Nick Chubb ran for 127 and a touchdown. They put up 393, but they turned over twice. I think Baltimore destroys them again. I think Lamar Jackson goes all Lamar Jackson on them, and they should solidify the number 1 seed, I believe, with the win here. All right, then you got the Saints and Titans. This is huge for both teams, actually. The Saints are one of those 4 teams right at the top for the number 1 or 2 seed in the NFC. And Tennessee is only 1 game behind Houston for the division lead, and I think they're tied with Pittsburgh for a possible wild card spot. So both teams really need a win here. New Orleans, they beat Indianapolis 30-47. Drew Brees set multiple records on Monday night. One, he had 541 passing touchdowns, which is a career record, and he happened to just set the completion percentage for a game. He's 29 of 30, so at 96.7% is the record. 29 of 30, 307, 4 touchdown passes. Another NFL record about to come probably in the next 2 weeks. Michael Thomas, he had 12 catches, 128 and a touchdown. He's got 133, I believe, on the season. The record for catches in a year is 143, set by Marvin Harrison about 15 or so years ago. So he's got 2 games left to get 11 catches, which he could do in the very next game. They put up 424 on the lap 205. Tennessee, they lost a close game to Houston 24-21. Ryan Tannehill 279, 2 touchdowns plus 1 rushing. A.J. Brown 8 catches, 114 and a touchdown. They put up 432 yards. This could be kind of a shootout. Both offenses have it rolling, but I think the Saints are the better overall team, a little slightly higher caliber. So I think the Saints get it done, but it should be pretty interesting, hard fought, really important game for playoff implications. All right, you got the Panthers and Colts. Both teams are eliminated from the playoffs. Not a whole lot to play for here. Carolina fought hard against Seattle, but lost 30-24. Kyle Allen 277, 1 touchdown, but threw 3 interceptions. DJ Moore 8 catches, 113. They actually put up 414 yards, but they had the 3 turnovers. Whereas Indianapolis, there wasn't much to say. They got killed by the Saints 30-47. They only had 205 yards. I think they come back here. I think the Colts play good defense. Jacoby Brissett gets it done. Marlon Mack, their running game, gets it done against Carolina. They'll force some turnovers, and I think the Colts end up getting a win here over Carolina. All right, the Bengals and Dolphins, maybe 2 worst teams in the league. Bengals, they got killed by the Patriots 34-13. Dalton with 151 passing, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. Joe Mixon was all they had. He ran for 136. They had 5 turnovers in that game. Miami lost to the Giants 36-20. Fitzpatrick 279, 2 touchdowns. Defense did force 3 turnovers in that game. Joe Mixon gives Cincinnati a chance in this if they can get him going. But I'm going to go with the Dolphins here. I think the Dolphins are a slightly better overall team. At least Dalton could be interception prone. Who knows? So I'll go Dolphins there. All right, Steelers and Jets. This is huge for the Steelers if they want to. They're still in that number 60 right now. If they want to maintain their position, they're going to have to win out. They're coming for 17-10 loss against the Bills. Devin Hodges 202 passing, 1 touchdown. He did throw 4 picks. They actually turned over 5 times and they only lost by a touchdown. And they had a chance late to tie the game. He threw an interception into the end zone late in the game. So their defense is one of the best in the league. They need to find a little bit of offense. The Jets, though, got killed by Baltimore 42-21. Sam Darnold 218, 2 touchdowns. Defense allowed 430. They had a block punt return for touchdown. Their offense really didn't get a whole lot. I think this will be a pretty low scoring game, a defensive game. But I think the Steelers will get their running game, James Conner going a little bit. I think Hodges will not make as many mistakes and just rely on that Steelers defense. They might even get a touchdown or something to help them solidify a wild card spot. So I got the Steelers winning a pretty close game there. The Giants and Redskins, both teams not really playing a whole lot. Giants beat Miami 36-20. Eli 283, 2 touchdowns but 3 interceptions. Saquon Barkley 112 rushing, 2 touchdowns. Sterling Shepard 9 catches, 111. They put up 412, but they had 3 turnovers. Defense though did have 3 sacks and a safety. Washington, they fought hard against Philly. They were actually up late in the game, but they ended up losing 37-27. Dwayne Haskins had a really good game, 261, 2 touchdowns. Taylor McLaurin went off for 5 catches, 130 yards and a touchdown. I think this will be pretty close here. I'm going to go with the slight edge over the Giants just because I like Dwayne Haskins, but Eli should start. Even though I think Eli is terrible, he still got the experience, so I think that might help them just enough to edge Washington in this game. Washington's favored by 2. That kind of makes sense, but I'll go with the Giants here. All right, Detroit and Denver. Detroit got killed by Tampa 38-17. David Blau 260, 2 interceptions. Danny Amendola 8 catches, 102. They only ran for 45 yards. They turned over 3 times. Denver, they got killed by Kansas City 23-3. Drew Lock was not very good, 18-40, 208 and a pick. Defense did have 3 sacks, but they allowed 419 yards. I'm going to flip it here. I'm going to go Denver here. I think their defense gets a little bit going. You got basically two rookies going against each other, Drew Lock and David Blau. I like Drew Lock a little bit more. I think Blau has promise, but I like Drew Lock quite a bit. So I'm going to go Broncos here. All right, Raiders and Chargers both eliminated as well from the playoffs. Raiders lost. They let Jacksonville come back to beat them 28-16. Derek Carr, 267 and a touchdown. Darren Waller, 8 catches, 122. They put up 364. The Chargers, they got crushed by Minnesota, 39-10. Phillip Rivers threw a 7 passing and touchdown. He threw 3 interceptions. They had 7 turnovers in that game. I think the Chargers should... they won't have 7 turnovers against Oakland. I think actually the Chargers are going to beat Oakland here. I don't know. I just think Chargers maybe, even with Rivers throwing a bunch of picks, I still like their offense better. All right, big game, Dallas and Philly. Whoever wins this game will win that division and go to the playoffs. The other will be eliminated. Dallas destroyed the Rams 44-21. Dak Prescott, he passed for 212 and 2 touchdowns, but this was about the running game. They had 2 guys go over 100 rushing yards. Tony Pollard, rookie out of Memphis, ran for 131 and a touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott ran for 117 and 2 touchdowns. They put up 475 yards. Whereas Philly, they beat Washington 37-27. Carson Wentz, 266, 3 touchdowns. Miles Sanders ran for 122 and a touchdown. They put up 415, and the defense had a fumble return touchdown. This will be a really exciting game. I expect this to be pretty high scoring. But I think in the end, I actually do think the Cowboys are the slightly better overall team. These teams are pretty evenly matched. But I think Dak and company, they can get it done with their running backs. All right, going to Arizona and Seattle. Seattle's one of those NFC teams vying for a number 1 or 2 seed. Arizona, they could very well play spoiler here. They beat Cleveland last week, 38-24. Kyler Murray, 219, 1 touchdown, a pick, ran for 56. But it was Kenyon Drake's show. He ran for 137 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. They put up 445 yards of offense. Where Seattle won a close game against Carolina, 30-24. Russell Wilson, 286, 2 touchdowns. Chris Carson ran for 133 and 2 touchdowns. Tyler Lockett, 8 catches, 120 and a touchdown. They put up 428 defense, forced 3 turnovers. I think this actually will be a pretty close game for most of the game, but I think Seattle will end up going away with it and win this one over Arizona. All right, you got the Chiefs and Bears. Chiefs have already solidified their division and a possible 1 or 2 seed, depending how other games go. The Bears are eliminated from the playoffs. Chiefs beat Denver 20-33. Patrick Mahomes 342 touchdowns on the pick. Travis Kelce 11 catches 142. They put up 419. Chicago had a close game against Green Bay. They only lost 21-13. Trubisky 334, 1 touchdown, 2 pick. Robinson 7 catches 125. Anthony Miller 9 catches 118 and a touchdown. They put up 415 yards, but they turned it over 3 times. They could give Kansas City a little bit of a scare if their offense can get clicking, but I don't think it will be enough to win. I do think Kansas City will go into Chicago and steal one. All right, a huge Monday night game. Green Bay and the Vikings. Green Bay is 11-3. The Vikings are 10-4. Vikings are only 1 game behind Green Bay in the division and possibly a number 1 or 2 seed, depending on how the last couple of weeks play out for both teams. Green Bay beat Chicago 21-13. Rodgers, not very good, 16-33, 2-3 and a touchdown. Devontae Adams, 7 catches, 103 and a touchdown. It was really their defense. They had 3 sacks and 3 turnovers. Whereas Minnesota destroyed the Chargers 39-10. Cousins, 207, touchdown, a pick, but this was about their defense. They had 3 sacks, 7 turnovers, and a fumble return touchdown. This is in Minnesota. I'm actually going to go Minnesota here. I think Minnesota has been playing better, really good football over the last maybe 2 months or so. Green Bay's kind of been hot and cold. Yes, I trust Rodgers, but I think overall Minnesota's got a really good defense. Dalvin Cook is hurt, but Alexander Mattison, the rookie from Boise State, I think should take over. Kirk Cousins has been on fire. I just think, I don't know, I feel like Minnesota should get it done here and come out with a win and take over that division. All right, so those are my Week 16 NFL picks. Check back for all my bold picks. I'm going to do probably 1 a day for the next couple of weeks, so check those out. Peace.
lost all hope and wake up, try to find my focus. Meet someone new, but the walls ain't broken. It's a never-ending circle I'm in. Time slow when you're on your own and miss seeing that name on your phone. And phone rings, not you, heart slow, man. Why you gotta switch up the plan?